Welcome to the Nouveau Electric Hour. This is the second episode of the Nouveau Electric Hour live stream. Though for all my Patreons, it's going to be a anytime you want stream because I don't have good enough internet service to live stream. So I'm pre-recording it and then it will be available anytime you want to watch it, which is even better than live. It's anytime. So this week I'm going to go with Amedé and Danse McGee. Definitely two of the most influential musicians in Cajun and Creole music. Amedé, of course, the accordion player that we call the grandfather of Zydeco, and the fiddle player that played with him, Danse McGee. And what's fitting about this timing is I would have done this anyway, and I just now realized that it actually taps into everything that's going on nationally because Amedé was a black accordion player who played to everybody. He played black dances, white dances, mixed everything, and he ended up dying at the hands of some white men who were apparently from Texas and didn't understand Louisiana local what was happening where they were passing through. And it's a pretty horrible story about how they killed him. Well, they didn't actually kill him. They just injured him so bad that he was never the same. His mind was never the same. And he was sent to the insane asylum up near Alexandria and eventually died there. But Amedé and Danse McGee were one of the first biracial recording duos in the nation. Danse McGee was a fiddle player of French, Native American, and Irish or Scotch-Irish background from what I've heard. The joke that I've always heard that I like to tell is that he said, "Oh, and McGee, that's a French name because every McGee I know speaks French." So there you have it. Amedé, of course, an Ardoin from St. Landry, Evangeline Parish, and Imperial St. Landry Parish at the time, probably. And he was very well known for playing multiple dances in one day. Goldman Thibodeau, whose album I just released, is possibly one of the last people around to have seen Amedé play and met him. Goldman Thibodeau tells me the story every time we play because he was so inspired by Amedé. His main memory of him is he was coming to play a dance at his dad's house, at Goldman's dad's house, and Goldman was up in a tree waiting for him. And he saw him show up on horseback with his accordion in a box, probably a case, and he asked Mr. Amedé if he could carry his accordion inside, and he said sure, and he let him carry his accordion inside the house, and he said he played that dance, and I mean he said he was so short, and he wore like a size 5 shoe, he said. And sometimes his shoes would barely even touch the floor when he would be sitting and playing. But he would make so much music with one person. And then when you add Danse McGee in it, one of the best fiddle players, and I'm going to go into more about Danse McGee later, but such an amazing duo. And I'm going to start with the Amedé Two-Step. The Amedé Two-Step, named after Amedé. Some people call it other things, and there's a lot of other names for it, people who say they've written it, but Amedé.
Bonsoir Quentin, moi je m'en vais joli. Moi je m'en vais, ouais, moi tout seul, à la maison. Moi je voudrais que vous obteniez qui aussi mal. Si t'en vas à ta maison, toi tu t'y derrière. gâteau. Ça fait du mal, oui, toi, Catin, assez pour moi pleurer. Quand tu vois mais t'en aller, ça fait la peine. Quand on ira d'autres sur moi, je crois que tu fais ça. Ça fait du mal, oui, toi, Catin, assez pour moi broyer. Amedé Two-Step, Amedé Ardoin. That's one of the first songs that I really fell in love with and learned. When I had this Amedé Ardoin cassette and I was traveling with my little Walkman, I would listen to that, and man, that song came on, and the hypnotic movement of his accordion and the way that he was so in it, just a master of his instrument. And so much blues and pain, and man, that's what music, that's what music does. And Amedé Ardoin is, it's crazy. We call him the grandfather of Zydeco, which he is, and he's also kind of the grandfather of Cajun music in a sense, where all of his songs went on to be Cajun standards, black or white. That's the complex thing about Louisiana, is there's so much, that it goes both ways. But, let's just call it French music, because whether it's Creole or Cajun or whoever's playing it, man, there's so much similarity. I wish I would have gotten to see him, but luckily I get to play with Goldman, who got to see him, which is amazing. I'm going to play a song on the accordion that Goldman, I'm going to play a song on the accordion that Goldman plays pretty often. He calls it something else. And to my people on Instagram, check out my Patreon. I'm going to post it right here. And I'm doing a pirate radio show every Thursday and a live stream every Tuesday. So this will be coming out tomorrow. I have to pre-record it because my internet isn't good enough. This is a song by Amedé Ardoin called Blues de Voyage. And it's about traveling. And the girl's parents not wanting them. Oh, mais moi tout seul.
course, accordion isn't my main instrument, but so I'm nowhere near able to, express like Amedé did, but it's there. It's so much blues, so much. It's funny the stories because I heard that he'd write a lot of them on the spot about exactly what was going on, which is, to me when I'm making my best music, I'm writing it on the spot, which means I guess you're going through something. If you're not going through something, it's hard to write a song because you don't have inspiration, whether it be heartbreak or happy. So, I heard Amedé wrote a lot of his songs on the spot about what was going on, even in that room, where he would talk about the people in the room. And, when he played his last house dance, it was, which was probably a very common thing at the time in his circles and in the area. A white lady gave him her handkerchief to wipe his face, and apparently there were some guys from Texas who didn't think that was cool, and they took him outside. And Goldman Thibodeau told me this story a few weeks ago that I'd never heard about them stretching him on cars and all kind of horrible stuff. And we were getting chills when he was telling that story. It's how fitting today with just, and he was a child of slaves, a sharecropper, and it was not even removed, but he would play white dances all the time, be welcome in white houses to play music at the least. But I'm not saying anything's any certain way. I'm just stating what I do know. But he'd play a lot with Dennis McGee, and it's interesting because at the same time, Dennis McGee was recording with twin and triple fiddles. So you have Dennis McGee, which was the old style Cajun music, they're saying, because apparently the accordion was kind of new at the time. So Dennis McGee was playing this old style Cajun music with all these different rhythms, dances, if you will, mazurkas and reels and Valse de Gueydan, two-time waltzes, and a lot of dances that are not done at all today. A lot of rhythms that aren't played at all today. And it's once the accordion came in, I think it had a huge effect on the music itself, but it was also society was changing. So it went from house dances to dance halls. And there was no, a lot of these dances that were more house dances or old world dances were left behind. I had the pleasure of playing with and talking to Willie Duriso before he passed last year. He was a 101-year-old Creole fiddle player. And he played only house dances with his brother and one other guy in the 30s in LeBeau. And he said that they never had an accordion ever at their house dances. And Mr. Willie Duriso was, Creole, black, if you will, though his father was a white French Canadian and his mother was a Louisiana Creole woman. You know how that goes. It's like, what is what? Personally, I don't see anyone as white or black because no one's white like that and no one's black like that, Everyone has a different color. And anyway, enough rant, but that's the beauty of it in a sense. It's like, man, everyone brings their own influence to it. And Dennis McGee with his, apparently there was Scotch-Irish fiddling going on that influenced him. My wife, Ashley Wilson, her maiden name is Wilson, and her great-grandpa, Red Wilson, they called him Red, they called him Tug. I think his name was Lee, and she's named after him, Ashley, L-E-E. He was a Scotch-Irish, Celtic, if you will, fiddle player and dance caller. So he called dances, he played reels and jigs, all that right here in almost near Avoyelles Parish. It was the Black River, Red River, Black River. He was a steamboat captain, a tugboat captain, and that's an amazing addition to all the local music influences that we never talk about. I don't know where it faded to or what, but he definitely played fiddle and called dances. I'm gonna play a Dennis McGee tune. And so, like I said, you had Dennis McGee playing with Amedé on one end, where it's accordion and fiddle, black and white, and then you had Dennis McGee playing twin and triple fiddles at the same time, playing a whole different repertoire. One of my favorites that they play is a Valse de Gueydan. And what I love about the Valse de Gueydan, the two-time waltzes, is that they were such a fast waltz that they almost turned into a two-step, and you feel a lot of the polyrhythm in it. And that's a lot of old people say was that when you would be dancing a Valse de Gueydan, it was almost like dancing a two-step because it was too fast to go 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, and you had this whole another step. So this is one of my favorite songs called Valse Pop. Gueydan, malheureuse, tout mignon, tu connais ton papa, pas mon chila, avec toi, oui, toi, malheureux. Tu connais malheureuse par rapport à ta mort, moi je sais plus où est là pour toi malheureux, tu connais par rapport malheureux. Moi je connais malheureux, ça t'a fait, tu connais, tu vas pleurer. Valse Pop. That was a song that we recorded with Le String Noise, which came out about 2 months ago now, which is features Layla McCalla and the band String Noise, Pauline Kim and Conrad Harris. We were bringing together all the repertoires. I figured that would be really interesting to do with two violins and a cello with the fiddle. So y'all can check that out on the Nouveau Electric sites. Thank y'all so much for being here on the Nouveau Electric Hour. I'm shouting out to my Instagram people to let y'all know that I have a Patreon, and you should come join it. So I'm going to end the Instagram live stream now, and I'll be doing my pirate radio show for Thursday, and you can check this one out tomorrow night if you subscribe. Thanks for everyone's support. It's been a very interesting time. Still haven't gotten any gigs back. We lost every single one of our gigs, so it's figuring out, how to survive, keep playing music. And this has been the extent of my performance, really, and I want to do it as much as possible because I miss playing for people, and this is about the only way I can do it right now. we'll see what happens, but it's patreon.com/Nouveau Electric. Thank y'all so much. And I would like to thank all my patrons right now. And, excuse me for sharing that on Instagram. I just want to make sure and get more followers. You got to let people know doing what you can. So didn't want to give them the whole thing though. So I'd like to thank my patrons right now. Thank you seriously so much. I mean, it feels so good to have the encouragement and the support for me to do what I love and to continue to bring new music. The Pirate Radio Show, exploring all these artists, and I have so much I want to do. I already have the next few weeks lined up because I'm so excited about it. So we're gonna thank the patrons, like I said. Amanda Rose, Bernard, I think it's Pilon. Yeah, he don't have his last name. Brenda Godin, Brooke Broussard, my chat, Charles Fontenot, Chris Frazier, Christopher Vinn, Corey Gilsdorf, Dale Gunno, Eric Fruman, Brooklyn, Fred Nicholas, James Bilborough, Joe Toman, my newest patron, Josue Savoie. You're going to have to tell me how to say your name. Josue? I like it. Catherine Michaud, thanks my sir. Matthew Ami, Michael Weber, Mike Baldwin, Richard Schottenfeld, Sadie Comment, Salvatore Nero, Sal, Tommy Michaud, thanks Dad, and Valerie Branche Mendoza. So thank y'all so much, and really happy to have finally started my Patreon. This is week 2. So this is the second live stream. Trying to come up with a new name for the live stream because it's not actually live. Like I said, my internet signal isn't good enough to do it live, and you would be having glitches all the time. So I'm pre-recording it solid and going to continue going like that. I'm going to do another Dennis McGee tune, and this is one I've been doing for years. I used to do it with Chris Courville, Oscar, back when we do like a duo with the Apple Barrel. And then we do it the Ramblers sometimes, and I recorded it on the Michaud's Melody Makers album, Blood Moon, that came out 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago. And by the way, we have another Michaud's Melody Makers album coming out in 1 month, and it's pretty awesome. It's called, I'll give y'all a sneak peek, it's called Cosmic Cajuns from Saturn, because we recorded it at the Saturn Bar, and our concept with Blood Moon was Cosmic Cajun, because we have Mark Bingham making all these awesome experimental ambient noises, and we really try to explore the atmosphere and the sonos of the music. So it's 8 songs recorded live at the Saturn Bar in New Orleans, and it's really fun album. So really excited to be able to put that out. Here's Danse Carrée from Blood Moon, a Dennis McGee tune, which means square dance. And if you've heard the original, they started by calling out like a kind of calling a square dance. And what's interesting to me is how aware they were even back then, of other people's perception of their music. It's not like, I think we have a tendency to want to say that a lot of this music is, it's just what you knew, and you had no idea of the outside world. But I think it's complete BS, because if you look at it, obviously people have always been worldly and cared about the world around them. But if you listen to the music and you listen to like the intro of this song, he introduces it to show people who aren't familiar with it what it's about. And they say, in the Evangeline country, come dance like we do in the Evangeline country, and we're going to do this dance. I forget what he says exactly, but you should check it out. Danse Carrée. Here it is. like I always do with my drummers on board, we do it in halftime and make it like a. And then I go much faster. And then I try to go so fast I can barely even play it. Danse Carrée. Let me just make one little adjustment real quick, and I will be back. Right back. All right. So, you know, who knows where that song came from? Square dance, Danse Carrée. I mean, hey, it's America. It's Louisiana. I mean, it's a, you know, so many sharing of ideas, so much sharing of ideas, sharing of culture, sharing of music. Of how did Louisiana get to be such an interesting place? All the different people who made it, you know. Dennis McGee was part Native American, speaking of, and that's one thing I think that is a huge influence that you don't really hear talked about much, maybe because it's hard to say what it is and it's hard to have any exact proof, but I mean, there has to be so much Native American influence, and I like to think that it's in the rhythm and the singing style. You know, where does this awesome yelling and yelping, like, or wailing come from? You know, it's such an amazing thing that Cajun musicians do, where you have like grown macho men singing waltzes at their highest voice, and it's such a great, it's such a great balance to masculinity. I find where it's kind of like maybe that's the Spanish influence. Who knows? Maybe it's the French. But I feel like there's a Native American part in there, and Dennis McGee definitely somehow brought that in. He he also had so much music that seemed so old world, so like old French or maybe Celtic or whatever. But some of the songs almost sound like they came from a different music mode, if you know what I'm saying, like modal, and it's not at all like any of the Cajun music you hear today. The next I'm gonna play is definitely a different one, and it definitely is only heard in that old fiddle style, and that I've never heard it translated to accordion. This is a song called Grand Marais. It's another song that we recorded on the Blood Moon album. I think that's the interesting thing about Michaud's Melody Makers is it's a chance for me to try to explore these different fiddle musics and these different rhythms and melodies that aren't at all like the typical accordion music that you play today. So here is Grand Marais.
La peine m'en aller, toujours moi tout seul. Quand moi tout seul, tu fais t'en aller avec une normalité, et à manger de regret. Mon cœur fait mal. Gamaliras, il faut que je soigne mes enfants, y a galé. Gamaliras, mais pas quitté non pas. Toi t'en aller avec une normalité. Ton grand Marais, mais oui, ma chape toujours, ce jour va venir, mais quand tu vas revenir. Marais. That is, that's such a different song, for the Cajun repertoire. And just gotta say, one thing I love about doing this, about playing, even though it's on camera for y'all, it takes me back to my days of busking on the streets, and that's really how I, got in tune with my own rhythms and my ability to play and sing and use my feet for rhythm at the same time. And that's such a sweet moment in my
my life, even though it had its hard times where I was actually doing it to survive. And at some moments, if I didn't make enough, I didn't eat, and or I didn't get to the next stop. So it became stressful in that way. But it was definitely such an informative part of my music career, if you will. And it really was. I mean, I met so many people playing on the streets that I still play gigs to this day, even though not right now, that are from people that I met playing on the streets. And, that's the beautiful thing about music is they've done those tests, it's like put someone famous on the street, see if they make money or not, and then put someone famous on the stage or whatever. Or it's just straight up, no lights, no mirrors and smoke and mirrors and all that stuff. It's just straight up, and if you can capture someone's attention and touch into the rhythm, touch their heart or their soul with the rhythm, that then you've succeeded. And that's whether or not they give you $1 or not. It's all about bringing joy to people's lives, and people are doing their thing day to day in their grind, trying to get from point A to point B, and then boom, beautiful music on the side of the street. Happened to me one time. I was having a horrible day in New York one time because I played on the streets for New York for a few months, and then I've continued returning to New York often enough. And a few years ago, I was having a really hard day, and I was like trying to get some. I was only there for like 2 days, 3 days, and I woke up real early, and I'm trying to get late to get on the subway to get where you got to go and all that. And I was just not feeling great. And I got down there, and there was this amazing Chinese hammered dulcimer play where you have the little hammers and you play all these strings. And it was such amazing music that it just completely made me forget I was having a bad day. And I even got a CD. Her name was Ting Ting. And we used to joke about it all the time. I wonder how Ting Ting's doing. Because I tried to look her up, couldn't find anything, but this CD was amazing. And the titles of the music were amazing too. There was like, Rose Moon and Foggy Morning and these different awesome titles like this. But yeah, it's so cool how playing on the streets, I'm so lucky to have had that time in my life. I hope to have it again, but this is kind of the next best thing because I get to play for people who want to listen to my music just like this. It allows me to play, even though I can't play with my bands, I get to play by myself. And that's, it's so weird. Music is, it seems so frivolous, but it seems so necessary at the same time. So I'm going to do an Amedé tune because that's what this week's subject is. Amedé and Danse McGee, one of the first biracial recording groups in the nation. Valse de Gueydan, I've never played it on accordion, so bear with me. It's going to take me a minute to get it going, but... Oh man, here we go.
pas bien fait, comme ça toi tu fais. Oh, Catin, toi tu fais ton dimanche. Jamais d'agrément, ça te fait avec moi. Oh, Catin, toi tu fais ton
Woo! That was all right. I'll spare y'all. I mean, I'm trying to get better on accordion and trying to play Amedé music at the beginning. Probably the best idea, but trying to play songs I love and be inspired by the musicians I love. So that was the Valse de Gueydan. I'm gonna do another song. That's an Ardoin song that I wrote my own lyrics to. It's I changed the lyric. It's called Quoi Faire tu fais comme ça. Why do you do like that? Why Quoi faire tu fais comme ça? And I changed the lyrics to, why do you work incessantly without enjoying your life? I wrote it when I was 19. Quoi faire tu fais comme ça? Yeah, I wrote that song when I was 19 giving blood plasma for money. Oh, my youth. Yeah, we won't talk about that anymore, but I'm find myself very, very blessed to have ended up with the life I have, Being a musician in the first place, never been easy. We've put in so many long hours with the Ramblers, with all the groups, you know, so many miles, so many sleepless nights, so many gigs with no pay. I hear Marius over there wanting to say hi. Marius, you want to say hi? Y'all see him? Look at the little. You want to come say hi, buddy? You want to come say hi real quick? Come say hi. You got some Coke? Look, I'm gonna leave that here so you don't spill it. Look, come say hi. Look, see, the people are in. Look, right here, man. Look right here. They're in there. Tell them hi. Hi. Do you play the accordion? Do you want to show them how you play the accordion? You want the fiddle? But look, I have an accordion right here. You want to play it? Yeah. Okay. Thumb strap. Look, thumb strap. Okay. Already got it. Go ahead, buddy. Yeah.
One good.
You want me to play with you?
1, 2.
1, 2. Yeah, what do you call that song?
This one go my tum tum.
Tum Tum?
Yeah.
Oh, the Tum Tum goes right there. That's right.
And the singing good on mine.
That's right. It's the bass side, huh? They sing on. You want to play? Mama song?
Not that one.
Oh, that one. What do you want to play?
The Micah.
Which? Oh yeah. That's your guitar.
Yeah, no.
Okay, let's play one more song and then I'm gonna let you tell the people bye. You ever heard Home Sweet Home?
Yeah.
Good job, buddy.
I got it.
You got it. Look, tell the people bye.
Bye.
All right.
Now
Thank.
I'm the fiddle.
Well, you can play the fiddle next time. How about that?
Up here.
Yeah. How about next week we play fiddle? I'll be right back. Thanks for stopping by, Marius. Oh, you found some candy. Good. Thanks for stopping by. All right. A guest appearance by my third son, Marius Honoré Michaud, an aspiring accordion player, as he calls it. He plays his guitar, his accordion, and his fiddle. And boy, can he play. So his name is Marius Honoré, partially after General Honoré and partially after Eugene Honoré Michaud, who's the only Michaud who was born and died in New Orleans. The middle child is Louis Pierce Michaud, who's named after me. I'm named after both my grandpas. Louis Joseph Michaud, who's my grandpa and my great-grandpa from Avoyelles Parish, and Pierce Melliton, whose fiddle this is. He gave me this fiddle, and it's been my number one, obviously. It was the only fiddle I had for a long time. Now I have a few more, but man, I love it. And it got stolen one time, and we got it back, and it's a miracle. So thanks, Papa, we called him, Papa Pierce. And then my oldest son is Julian Amedé. And the reason I'm telling you the names of my sons is because Julian Amedé is named after Victor Amedé Michaud, but also because my two favorite accordion players are Amedé Bro and Amedé Ardouin. I think I'll get into Amedé Bro next week because, man, it's just so awesome how much music is. I mean, of course, I'm passionate about it, and some of you might not know these names at all, but, you know, Amedé Ardouin was a black accordion player in the Prairie area around Eunice and all that, who played so many, just with so much heart. And Amedé Bro was a white accordion player who he was from Crowley, but their musics just are so similar but different. But they both had so much blues, you know. Amedé Bro had so much amazing blues in his music, as did Amedé Ardouin. But you know, it's just, that's what I love about it. Is really, there's so much American influence on Cajun music, and I think vice versa, so much Cajun influence on American music. So anyway, I'm gonna finish off the show with a classic song. I wanted to send this out to Matthew Doucet, who he and I started playing fiddles together, and we played at Danse Carrée. And this is another song we played, the Happy One-Step, and the Valse de Courville. Dennis McGee and Sadie Courville, who was Dennis McGee's main fiddle player when they do twin fiddles, and there was a third who was maybe Ernest Fruget, I believe. So Matthew Doucet and I played this song a lot, and we've also played this song a lot with Les Frères Michaud. They do both songs in a medley, and sometimes, like for weddings, you know, I played this song during weddings quite a few times, the actual ceremony and stuff. So, the Happy One-Step and the Valse de Courville. Start with the Valse de Courville. Thank y'all so much for being with me this week on the Nouveau Electric Hour live stream. Like I said, I'm trying to think of a new title for this part of the show because it's not live. I do have the pirate radio, of course, that is available every Thursday. This week's theme on the pirate radio is to be islands. So there's a lot of islands to explore in and out of Louisiana. And my next week's live stream, or whatever new title I come up with, will be on the Bro family. Amedé Bro, Cleoma Bro, who was the first one to record cage music with her soon-to-be husband, Joe Falcon. And there was Ofe and one more. Oh, shoot. And there was maybe two more. Anyway, I got to play with the three grandsons of Amedé Bro for the American Epic. Jimmy, yep, and Jimmy, Pat, and Gary Bro. All three accordion players. All three grandsons of Amedé Bro. So, looking forward to that because, man, they have so much music. So, hope y'all are enjoying these. Thank y'all again for your support. Let me know if you have any ideas or any requests. I'll do my best. So, bien merci, et on va se voir la prochaine fois qui vient. I realized I did this one all in English. I was trying to do them a little bit of both in French and English, but I know English is most of y'all's main language, but la prochaine fois, je vais essayer de faire la moitié-moitié. Tu quelqu'un qui parle français ou tu quelqu'un qui veut apprendre à parler français. Donc, soyez-vous autres, mes amis, et on va se voir la semaine qui vient.